Okay, so we've had a couple of requests to show the crash damage on Little Mac's Van's R3 from the fall he had at Barber. A few people asked and we decided that we wanted to do it. And there's some relevancy here too, show you how some of the parts crash. Let's first talk real quick, right? We're down there, it's Sunday. I haven't even ridden yet. Dad hasn't even ridden yet. Max is like, Dad, I want to go up and ride an intermediate. The control riders, the coaches, they said it was okay. And he honestly was riding really good. So it all made sense to me. He had plenty of, it's no problem. Well, yep, he fell in turn 5. Dad's getting ready to go out and do his first session. Here comes my kid on the crash truck. Well, instead of riding, I got to fix my little buddy's bike. Okay, what do you think was damaged the most?
I feel like it was the rear sets.
I would agree with you, especially considering the fact I'm the dude who did all the work on the bike. Okay, did all the work on the bike. Pretty familiar with it. This is the Vortex V3 2.0 rear set with that highly adjustable foot peg, the adjustable toe piece. And I've been wondering, how are these going to crash? I did talk to the guys from the M4 X-Star Suzuki team. They use these on the bikes, and of course the guys are crashing, they're racing. They did tell me they crashed really good. Now I got to see it for myself. Thanks for the help. I needed that experience. I needed that personal experience. He's lucky too that I had the same rear sets on my bike that weekend, because I didn't have any spare parts. I wasn't prepared. This is what the damage looked like. Realistically, all it did was wear the foot peg down. If it wasn't his first crash, I would have just thrown him out there with this 3/4 foot peg. I would have still ridden with it, totally fine, but I didn't want to give him a reason to be uncomfortable on the bike. So I took my Vortex rear sets that were brand new, thank you very much, first weekend riding on them.
Yep.
Yeah, I see you smiling. And I took them all apart so I could get the spare parts to fix my little buddy's bike. We had that. Realistically, all you needed was just a foot peg. It was quicker for me to do the whole bracket. Okay, so if you're going to carry spares for these, probably just a foot peg, you'll be good to go. If you like to err to the side of caution, get one of these whole assemblies and then you're covered, and it just takes a second to bolt it on the bike, which was awesome. T-handle here, 5 mil, had a backup wrench on the back, spun the nut off. I had that on there in seconds. The bracket was pushed a little bit in towards the swing arm. I don't know if that was the frame of the bike, maybe because it's lighter weight yielding, or if it was the bracket. I straightened that very easily with a small pry bar. The shifter was definitely tacoed a little bit, because the bike was stuck in gear, right? It was all kind of pushed in. It did bend the knuckle a little bit. I did some precision straightening on the knuckle, and precision, that's funny. And this, actually, I didn't even replace this. I straightened this once we got home in a vise, but down at the track, I was able to dial it in and get all the clearance he needed. The toe piece, you can see that right here, that was bent, okay? You can see it's actually a pretty severe angle. You can see it when it's in there a lot better. So in your spares kit, I'd recommend having, probably one of these assemblies, and this, you'd be pretty much covered, good to go, as long as you don't crash both sides of the bike in the same weekend, okay? Or get a complete set of 4, if that's what you think is going to do better. But that turned out great, came back, straightened this in a vise. The rear sets are perfect because we've ridden it again since then.
Yep.
Next up, what do you want to show?
Bodywork.
Let's talk about Hot Body's bodywork, baby. How did it crash?
Crashed pretty well. It's it's a little scuffed up here, up there, and then back over in the corner.
What is this?
Something.
What is it?
I wrote sent.
Sent. You don't have very good handwriting.
Nah, I know.
Yeah, you got to work on that.
It was a little bumpy, so I mean, you can't.
Well, you could have tried to be a little bit smoother. You could have been a little smoother in front too. Okay, so the bodywork really held up great. There's no structural cracks, the hunting points, everything was intact, and this was a reasonably decent crash. I mean, the bike didn't tumble, thank baby Jesus. But this is a decent crash, and everything there held up good too. GB racing covers, thank God those were on there, huh, man? Those are fairly new too.
Yep.
Worked perfect. No damage to the cover underneath, no leaks, ready for another crash. I'm not gonna change that, we're gonna leave it. Clutch lever. I learned that you should have spare clutch levers if your son is riding an R3 on the racetrack, okay? Fortunately, I did not have that, so I took the entire perch off. Perch is fine. I had a Super Sport perch in my toolbox. I just threw that on there. I had a complete lever. I got it dialed in for him. We now have spare levers for the OE clutch perch and brake master for the R3, just so that if this happens again, or should I say when, that we're prepared. I can just do a quick lever swap. Actually, I have some CRG levers on the way for this, so we're going to put on it. Front axle, just kind of touched on a little bit on the bolt. We've done a tire swap since then. Everything went A-OK, no problem. Well, one thing that was a big bummer for Dad is, well, the front end I just put that fork cartridge kit in there too, you knucklehead, was twisted, okay? So what happens sometimes in a crash is the upper triple will move a little bit on the steering stem, and it kind of rocks the forks in there. The forks can bend, that can happen, but he didn't have a very big crash, so all it was a twisted front end. To fix that, I had to pull the top triple tree off. I had the whole front end of the bike apart right there at the track. It was great. It was only like 90-something degrees. I was in my suit. It was no big deal. Happy to do it. And pulled the forks out of the lower, put them back through the lower, got everything lined up, put the top triple back on, got the front end straight again, and we're able to get the kid back out there riding. You know, got the bike reteched, STT reteched it. We were all thumbs up, good to go. And then an instructor was nice enough to take you out there and rip you around for the one session. Got your confidence back.
Yep.
And then the last session, you rode really well. And I was proud of you because you actually went a lot faster than you did before you fell. And looking at the video, your lines were a whole heck of a lot nicer. So you learned from your mistake and you got to watch your dad work on your motorcycle for like over an hour in 90-some degree heat in a leather suit. There you have it. There's crash damage. Hopefully it doesn't happen again this year. Max Van, Yamaha R3.
Yep.
I'm not gonna hit you. I love you. I'm gonna give you a hug. I'm gonna hug you. He's good.